Evil Dead fans? In this video, I'm going to go over a lot of information. Now, what I did is I made a post the other night on the Knights of Samaria talking about how you can make an Army of Darkness gauntlet for under $100, but because of inflation and how things are going right now, so I would say in the $100 range. I mean, the complete deal. And I did mention something about print lines about it. That was not trying to knock 3D printers. A lot of my friends are 3D printers. This is just a way for somebody who doesn't 3D print can do this at home and do it very inexpensively. I've made a gauntlet before. I actually made one before I started the channel. After I did my very first channel I've ever done, then I did one of those and I didn't like it. It looked good, it looked great, and then I just threw it in the trash. So I still get a lot of crap for that. And the reason why I'm gonna go over that now instead of doing the full build, that's not a project I'm gonna start right away, because I got 2 of these Invisible Man kits. Thank you, Doug Johnson, for picking up that second one for me. I want to do the Evil Dead 1 dagger first and the stand for it. If you remember my stand from my Evil Dead 2 one, it's pretty cool. This one is going to be completely different, and a lot of people like my Evil Dead 2 one. This Evil Dead 1 stand is just going to be crazy. One thing I do want to cover is a lot of people, such as myself, have a hard time trying to find the teeth for the visible head kit teeth. It's not a kit that's readily available all the time. What you can do is go on eBay and you can find this. These are resin teeth. These are only $10, free shipping, and you get a full set of teeth right there. The only thing that sucks about these, they don't have the root on them, so I'll have to sculpt those in when I do this with the teeth on the side, because they are a little bit longer. If you look at Evil Dead 1, when Scotty's holding it, the teeth are they've been sculpted a little bit. They're not just the normal teeth. So those are the next projects. So I want to go over how to build an AOD gauntlet for about $100. And you got to remember, you can keep it cheap. You got to remember, when they do stuff on film, a lot of times they just buy the cheapest crap and they just put it together. You know, they have a budget. Let me show you an example. So here we have my post-apocalyptic chainsaw. If you haven't seen it, go to some past videos. You'll see it there. This is the one where a lot of people say the legendary chainsaw in the video game was referenced. This was referenced as that chainsaw because of the tubes to the side and the silver tape up top. So yes and no, I don't know. I think it's cool. If it is, if it ain't, it's whatever. But here's the example of how you can do stuff super inexpensive. Right here, the inside of this. I seriously spent probably less than $5 on everything that's in here. A lot of it's things I had laying around the house or in the shop. The only thing I really bought was those 2 vials right here. That's really it. One has dish soap in it, one has fake blood that I had laying around. So you can do it very inexpensively. Some are home light pieces. These dots right here, little rivet looking things, that's just milliput and glued on there and then smashed in to make that dot. Some of it's metal, some of it's not. That's a wheel right there from a car kit. This right here is aluminum with foam behind it. These little lines down here were made with matchsticks. So you can do something really, really cool for super inexpensive. So yeah, there's a good view for you guys right there. And this is wearable. Like, if you haven't seen the videos, just to let you know, it is wearable. So how do you make an AOD gauntlet for super cheap and save a ton of money and make it almost screen accurate as humanly possible? It's not gonna be 100%. So the first thing you gotta do is go on eBay or Amazon. What you find is a fisherman's glove. A fisherman's glove is not like they use it for fishing. It's when they're cutting fish. It looks like chainmail. That's what it looks like. So that's what you find. Sometimes they have a blue or red kind of snap at the bottom. You can discard that. So make sure you find one that you can discard that. Usually they come with a white glove on the inside, and that's really nice because it thickens it up. So that's the first thing you do. The next thing is you want to build this piece right here. Now, what you do is you can use anything, just a super thin stiffener. There's different options. You can use aluminum, you can use sheet metal. I do suggest to do it as light as possible. You don't want it to be heavy. Or plastic or PVC. At Aces, I don't know about other hardware stores, but you can get this PVC. A couple feet of it is only like $4. This was like $4 right here, like 2 feet of it. So, and you're gonna use this more than you think. So this is a big 4-inch one. Why is it wet? That is gross. So this can be sanded, heated, all kinds of stuff. So you can use aluminum or this. What you do is you gotta have the glove because you want to know how wide it's got to be. Do some reference photos, take some reference photos, and then you trace out what you need, either on this or something else. And if you have this, you're gonna have to heat it up and bend it. You don't need a heat gun, you can use a lighter, but if you have a heat gun, it's really nice. It's kind of up to you. So that's just the base. After that, you need to give it some depth and start to sculpt the depth. What you gotta do, go to any craft store, buy foam. Buy some thin stuff and 1 or 2 things, or actually just one of these and then one of these, or a couple of these. 2 of these, 1 of these, whatever. You spend maybe $2, $3. What you do is you get some really good glue. Loctite gel, Ultra Control is great stuff. That's about $6. And then you start to layer it up on top of that. What you're doing is you're creating the depth of that top, and it's staying lightweight. So with this and that, it's staying light. After that, after you have it layered exactly how you want it, what you're gonna need to do is cut out those middle pieces where you see like they look like springs. Now, to make those, all you need is an old school metal clothes hanger, and at the same store, hobby store, or craft store, beads, the right size beads. So I'm gonna exclude the tools on this. This is kind of up to you how you do it. What you do is you just basically take that clothes hanger and you snip pieces off that fit, and you put it into like an L shape. And then with the beads, you fit the beads in there, and once you get the exact amount of the ones with that are the right size, you just glue those together and let that sit. And then when you're done with that, while that's drying, what you need to do, sorry, excuse me, I was getting ahead of myself. Before you put those on, there's one thing you gotta do. So you have your top piece with the foam on there, and those pieces are cut out. So you have where that clothes hanger is gonna go with those beads. To make it stiffer, to give it some, beat up power so it's not flimsy and stuff, is you can get this at any automotive store. It's more expensive there. You can get this at Walmart. It's actually cheaper. You can get a smaller can. It's Bondo glass. What it is, it's fiberglass. It mixes together just like Bondo, but it is fiberglass. And that's what you put on top of it to give it some strength. And then you want to sand it flat, nice and flat. The thing about that is you can get sandpaper at the dollar store, so maybe a couple bucks there. So you got that sanded down. You got your little clothes hanger and your bead piece. You use that same glue I was talking about, and you glue them suckers on. Make sure it's at the proper depth that you want. After that, you want something like Milliput, which is about $10 at Hobby Lobby. This stuff at Walmart, a smaller can is about $6, and you're gonna use it, so it's a good thing to have. What you do then is the little rounded edges on the back of the palm piece and up here around here, and to give it a little more of an accurate look, like you have to, it's got like a ledge right here. To get that ledge, Milliput's really nice. Let that sit, let it cure, sand that down smooth, and you're almost done with that top piece. So for the little rivet pieces right here, or the bolts or whatever you would call them, there's one thing you can use, and it's very simple. Thumbtacks. These kind of thumbtacks, you can find the right size at any craft store, and a huge thing of them's like a couple dollars. Since that top piece is fiberglass. It will be a little bit of a challenge to push these in, so you can drill with a small drill bit if you have it. Drill it in, put that glue in that hole, and then just slide it in, let it dry. And then you want to get a really, really good silver spray paint. Don't buy the cheap shit because it just ends up being gray. Silver spray paint, about $7 right there. Spray paint it, top piece is done. When it comes to putting it on the glove, there is options. One is you can have a separate glove, like a leather glove, and cut everything off of it and attach it there where you slide it on. Or if you don't want that look, what you can do to attach it to this to the fisherman's glove is you use buttons. You can get that at any craft store too. Buttons are super cheap, and usually they come with the pieces to actually put them on. If you can't punch it in with the kit, that glue, that that Loctite Ultra gel hold stuff will hold the buttons on. So you put one half of the buttons on the inside and the other one's on the glove, and then you just snap it on. There you go. And if you ever need to work on it, you can just pop it right off. So you got that part done. The inner palm, you have some options there. You can go with foam, and so you can bend your hand around and just glue that on there if you want to. You can do that. But if you want more of the look with the hinge, like it's hard, you have options. You can go online. This is where you spend a little more money, but you don't need to. You can get a bigger size mannequin hand and use that, or make a mold of it, but you're spending more supply money. If you got a mannequin hand, or you can actually use your own hand, there's a method you can do, is you use toilet paper and glue. You just get glue, which you can get at the dollar store for just $1. Toilet paper, dollar store. And it's like paper mache. You can either use your hand or the mannequin hand, and you do the toilet paper glue method, right? Where you put toilet paper on your hand or the mannequin hand, and then you wet it down. Now, if it's on your hand, it's going to take a little bit to dry. You don't have to get it 100% dry, just enough where it has structure. And you got to remember, it's going to be a little bit wider because it is going on that glove. So you can make it wide and messy. If it's on your hand, which I did before, it takes about a good hour before you can actually just pull it off and just sit it down somewhere. And you want to leave a lot of extra because you're going to cut that down. Or you can sit on the mannequin hand, but make sure if the mannequin hand is a little smaller, you want to press the sides of it out a little bit at a time so it widens it out, but you'll get that palm look in it. And you can kind of mess with it while it's drying. That's the nice thing about it. It's got a long set time. Now, when that's dry, what you want to do, and it's got to be completely dry, really layer it on. What you want to do, put your glove on and then trim down exactly the size that it is. Remember, you're going to have a hinge on this other side if you're going with a hinge look. A hinge, small hinge, a couple bucks at a hardware store. So you cut it down, and since it is toilet paper and glue, I'm going to fly in here. What you do to harden it up, again, fiberglass. It will harden it up and give it some thickness. And then what you do is for your top piece, you put that hinge over here, and you put the other hinge on that piece, and you can, there you go. You get less mobility with a hard piece here, but it's really cool looking. To hold it on the other side, put a button right there on the one side, and then on the glove, and then it snaps right on. And that's how you get that. And we're probably about 50 bucks in right now, even counting, this. Let's talk about the finger pieces now. You have options there. You can make it out of cardboard. If you use a cardboard, make sure it's something like the cardboard that's from like an action figure, that kind of really nice, stable, thin stuff. You can use aluminum, whatever, doesn't matter. Or you can use a piece of this. Now let me show you right now. This is that same stuff. Now I have these cut out like this because I was giving these out to people the last time before in Chicago. And the reason why is for the hero pieces for the power glove that I did, that's what they're made of. You can heat them up with a lighter. You can use a heat gun. You can sand it very easily. This is a piece that I just used as a demonstration. that I made. So see how thin you can get that? So yeah, you can make your finger pieces from this. Don't care how you cut it. It's kind of up to you on the tooling part. But it stands so easy. So you got all those made just for these pieces. We'll talk about the thumb in a second. You want to attach them to this, your fingers. A couple things you can do is you use, again, the foam. Usually the thicker stuff's a little better, but the thinner stuff has a little more give. And you want to run a seam of that down the fingers of that glove. You can initially kind of just glue those finger pieces on and just make sure you don't put it right at the joint because they will pop. To give it a little more strength on the finger piece, say this is one of the finger pieces, drill a couple tiny little holes as far back as you can get at the dollar store and get some fishing line, and then you just kind of weave it through the glove and then you tie it. You just don't want it to see in fishing line. And then you still glue it to those foam rails, because that foam stretches, because you remember your hand's going to move, so it's going to want to move with it. So that's two ways they can hold, because sooner or later but glue kind of wears down a little bit. But so far it's pretty lightweight, especially if you're using something like this. If you're going to do something with cardboard, make something the right shape from the cardboard and then fiberglass it. Gives it a little more strength. Like I said, you're going to use that. So you got the fingers. Let's do the thumb. Thumb, same thing. It looks like a tortoise shell kind of, with point. Kind of comes down the middle like this and goes like this if you're looking from the side. You can use aluminum again. You can use the PVC. You can use cardboard. You want to put two pieces together and use the milliput again, or if you want to use two-part epoxy, the stuff you just kind of cut and knead up like that, you want to sculpt that round rail that it has. And I've seen some people where they attach it with a little like cable or like a little belt looking thing. Again, a button. You put one side on the inside, make sure it's just got a little bit of a flat spot so it could sit, and then put the other one on the thumb and you just click it right on. And you can work your thumb, no problem. You don't have that piece in the back. You don't have that. So it's all there. So then, boom, your glove is basically done. Then the whole strap around here, if you're not good with leather work, you can go to any secondhand store, check out the belt selection. You can go online and find cheap leather belts. They're not really hard to find. Really look for the female belts because they're a lot skinnier. Things like that. And when it comes to this piece right here, same kind of deal. You want a good 4-inch right here. Cut it to size. Heat it to the way you want to. You can use foam to make the different rails and stuff like that, or even more PVC. Fiberglass that. Again, sand it. Use anything you want to make the middle piece right here for like the pump. For the little studs again, thumbtacks, and then to strap it, belts again. So that's it. It's not a hard thing to do. It's super inexpensive to do. I know I made it sound kind of easy, and it might be a little tough, but it's not hard to do. I see people spend thousands of dollars on replicas, and I'm like, man, you could do it for like $100. But I will at some point do a full-on build of that and show you exactly what I just explained. But at least for now, this gives you something to jump on. If you're excited to do it and you want to do it, there you go. I mean, you have tons of options. You don't have to spend a ton of money to make something look good. I mean, and it's going to look legit. It's not going to look 100%, but it's going to look really, really close. And it's going to be lightweight. You can wear it to a convention. Again, with the hard piece right here, a little less mobility, but if you want the look, that's what you want to do. But that's really it. It's not a hard build. You don't have to spend a ton of money to build something like that. It's not like a chainsaw where you have to buy specific parts that are now outlandishly expensive. So that thing is kind of a full custom piece, and they just really kind of just use whatever they got to make it. So yeah, that's really it. And I'll give everybody an update when I do that. And the next thing is the dagger and the stand. And if you're a 3D printer and you do the power gloves, that's pretty cool. That's kind of like the way the industry's going right now and the way builders are. It's very cool. If you don't have a high-end printer, you might run across having the print lines. The resin printers are probably the best to use for that, and keeping it somewhat lightweight as well. So, but there's people available who do make the power or the gauntlet pieces out of from 3D printing. But this is a way you can do it at home if you're not a 3D printer and you want to do it super inexpensive. So to wrap this up, the places you can look to make this project happen, first and foremost, look around your house, see what you can use. Remember that cardboard, like from an action figure backing, is a nice base plate for the fingers and right here, because you're gonna thicken them up, stiffen them up with fiberglass. And the stores and places to look at to get everything else, any kind of craft store, eBay, Amazon, secondhand stores, Walmart, and the dollar store. So that's pretty much it. It's a fun project, and I hope you guys have fun with it. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. So until next time, you guys stay groovy.